Okay, folks, welcome to Best Stock Charts for the coming week. What we're going to talk about today is how we did last week and the trades that we'll be watching for the new trading week. But before we begin with the charts, let me first thank our sponsor, which is TrendSpider. TrendSpider is the next generation in automated technical analysis, and there's a link below. I met with them. We went from a 25% discount to now a 30% discount. Great people over TrendSpider. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of their 7-day free trial offer. Again, 30%. You need to use the discount code and the link below. And for those who join our silver or gold level memberships, you get it free. It's free with your membership. Also, tonight, Sunday Night Futures Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us on YouTube. There's a link below if you want to get notified a half hour, 15 minutes in advance of when we go live. Enter your email address. We hate spam too. You'll not be spammed. And I will be doing chart requests. I have to take members' requests first, and they're already rolling in. Members, if you're watching this, I have already gone over these symbols on the week ahead commentary, and I did a deep dive into the weekly and daily charts. Entry points and stop loss points are posted in the members area under watch list, so go check it out. And please submit your symbols for me to review tonight. We'll go for about an hour. We'll go over the futures. We'll go over requests by members first, then super chat requests, and then if I have time, I'll do some requests made by those good enough to join me on a Sunday night. So let's begin. How was our week last week? Well, it was good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not as if we didn't get caught up in that gap down. We did, because we saw some breakouts on a couple of our positions, and those breakouts failed, and failed pretty poorly. So while we didn't go panicking and selling on Thursday, we didn't go selling the rally either on Friday. We did stop out of one position, which is Costco. It remains on our watch list. I'll go over that chart in a moment. But first, we went into the week, we went long of Microsoft because it had broken out. This is a weekly chart. It had broken out above resistance. We saw a continuation move higher last week. And of course, we ultimately sold off. Now, why did I book profits to the long side on Microsoft? And why then did I immediately get short of Microsoft? It's because we closed out the day here on June the 10th, trading above, well above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. And that's one of my peeves. I will not own a stock that I am short-term swing trading. As an investment, sure, I'll hold on to it if it's a longer-term investment, but this was not. This was a short-term swing trade. That was my sell signal. We booked those profits. We immediately went short of Microsoft. We booked profits on the move lower the following day. So a nice round trip on Microsoft, both long and short last week. We also got long of Gamestop. I went long of it as an earnings trade, which I rarely do. But the reason why I did so was because GameStop had already come out and announced that earnings are not going to be great. So a lot of the bad news was already out, and the shares were trading higher from when that news was announced. So I said, you know what? What's the risk reward here? The bad news is already out. So I took a look at the short interest, and there were a number of shorts ready to get squeezed in the name. The stock had yet to run, so I figured there's very limited downside, lots of upside here. So we got long in advance of earnings. There was no gap up on earnings. In fact, the shares moved down after hours. But then the next morning, you saw a short squeeze, and that was our signal to exit the shares. So we booked profits on GameStop. I think that was around 11% profit within a few hours. So a really nice trade. Now, I still like GameStop for the longer term. Let's go to a weekly chart, because what we did here, this is the value of TrendSpider, automated technical analysis. Let's overlay our trend lines and resistance lines. So you can see that we're in a downtrend channel. It's like a megaphone formation, and we are trying to break out. In fact, one could argue that we did break out. It's not even an argument, it's a fact. So we broke out last week. So I like the shares longer term. You can see I just overlaid monthly support and resistance level in dashed line on top of the weekly chart. And you can see that we broke out on a monthly basis back in April, rallied. Now we've pulled back and we are consolidating, now breaking out of weekly resistance. This chart is looking good. I like Gamestop. I didn't go over this one with members, but I'm going to add it to our watch list. I'll do a little bit more analysis on it, and we will add an entry point, an exit point, a target point on the watch list, so members, go check that out. I should have that done before we go live tonight. So bear with me if it's not done ASAP, but it will be done before I go live tonight. And again, that's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, folks, so please join me. All right, so GameStop looking really good here. We may get long of this yet again. I want to see how this market opens up this week. Do we gap up? Do we gap down? Is an orderly pullback? I think the bias is still going to be to the downside, but you never know. A lot of cheap money floating around out there, and it's finding its way into the markets, a very speculative market, so be very, very careful. So we've gone over Microsoft. We've gone over GameStop. Now, Costco, we stopped out of last week. Let's talk about that for a moment. We're not going to just talk about our winners here. We want to talk about where and why we exited a trade. Now, here is Costco weekly chart. It had broken out. This is one of the proximate reasons as to why we got long of Costco. It had broken out. What did it do last week? It failed. It rolled over. It couldn't hold support. Daily chart. Now, keep in mind, when I say that we stopped out, we didn't buy much. It was an opening position. And the reason why we use small opening positions is simply to test the market. Is our logic, is our rationale for entering the trade sound? And in the case of Costco, on a weekly basis, it appeared so, but the market was then quick to remind us that it's in charge and support levels did not hold. Therefore, we stopped out, and we stopped out on Thursday. Friday, it continued lower. I would like to re-enter Costco, but it's going to have to pull back to a support level, perhaps down here at 294.38. Let's overlay weekly support here. Click the button. Here's that support level that did not hold. Yeah, I would need to see a pullback to down here, 294.68, 9, around there. It's rising, so it's going to change. So Costco looking interesting, but I still think it's got a bit more downside to go. So it'll be on our watch list. Members, go check it out. All right, now, new stocks that were added to our watch list. I'm just going to do a higher level view here. Weekly chart. Air Test Systems. Had a good day on Friday. You could see I just overlaid on a weekly chart, monthly support. We broke out and above it here the week of April the 13th, pulled back, retested. Actually, we failed, and then we recaptured back here the week of May the 18th. Then again retested, it held, and it appears as though we have some really good support here, and that's at around $1.63 per share. Now, we did not put in a new weekly high last week. Let's overlay weekly support. All right, so you can see here that we bounced off of the support level last week. We came close to it anyway. It was respected, and we moved up higher, but couldn't close at the highs of the week. So on the weekend commentary, I go over the daily chart and the strategy for entering this trade, and on the watch list will be where we would stop out and what our price target is. So members, go check that out. The next chart up, CODA. I love this name. CODA Octopus Group. And you can see automatically Trend Spider picked up on the breakout above this upper band of resistance. Now, a good breakout last week. Like it. Our stochastics going in the right direction, moving up. RSI going in the right direction, moving up. And the daily chart looks really good with an outside reversal bar. You can see RSI broke out on a weekly basis as well. So the shares are really shaping up here. I like the setup. And again, members, I go over the daily chart on the week ahead commentary. It's already posted in the members area. I posted it there yesterday. I also sent out an email with the link to it, so you can check it out if you want to get a shortcut to the video. All right. So that's AEHR. CODA is done. FIZZ, we've been talking about this one for the past couple of weeks. It remains on our watch list. Okay, so we had broken out. An alert was fired off. We did not enter, though. We've just been watching it. I was watching for a pullback and a retest of support. We've gotten that pullback and a retest of support. The problem is it's flirting with a failure to hold support. And that's a concern to me. I want to see where we open up this coming week. If we begin to make new lower lows, it's off the watch list. If we pop up higher and we hold support on a weekly basis, then we'll be interested in it. And we may get long. I like the fact that you don't have a ton of volume above. That tells me that there's not going to be a huge fight for the shares to move up to our price target, which is at around $70 per share. I'll come up with a dollar specific number. It's going to be in the members area along with a stop loss point if and when we decide to enter the trade. So members, go check it out. I go over the daily chart on the weekend commentary. For the purposes of this video, we're going to just do the higher level view. Let's overlay some automated trend lines, see what we have going on here. Not much on a weekly basis and not much going on a monthly basis. So pretty much we're going to go with our manually drawn support line here. Let's go to URA. And this is another one that we've been watching. The shares had broken out back here. They had failed to hold the breakout point. They broke out yet again. We weren't going to chase it, and thank goodness that we did. We waited for the pullback and the retest. It's now in the ballpark of where we could begin accumulating. Also keep in mind that this is an ETF putting you long of uranium that had broken out of, this is a weekly chart with monthly overlays now and dotted green line and blue line and red line. We had broken out back here, back in April, pulled back, retested in May. Now we have a continuation move higher. We're now retesting weekly support. And we did so last week successfully. So we're going to be looking to enter this trade perhaps as soon as this week. And again, I hate to keep repeating myself. Members, I go over the daily chart on the week ahead commentary, and our price target, stop loss point, etc. is posted in or on the watch list. And the last chart up here is going to be Netflix. Now, this was brought to my attention. I was asked about a potential head and shoulders setup on a daily chart by Kat, who's a frequent viewer of our live streams. And while I wasn't entirely warm to her observation initially, I said, there's enough here to keep an eye on it. And sure enough, as time went by, I started agreeing with her more and more that we did have a head and shoulders setup forming, at least on a daily chart. And you could argue on a weekly chart as well. But we are holding on to a support level. We have not yet broken the neckline. So Netflix going into the new trading week is setting up as a potential short. So we have no support or resistance on a monthly basis, not so much on a weekly basis. So what we'll be eyeballing here is this. And you can see that we had an alert that fired off last week, letting us know that the shares had pulled back and retested support. And that's what moved it to the front burner for us to continue to analyze as a potential short trade. So TrendSpider has really great alerts to set up here. In fact, this is fired off. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to create a new one because I want to know now if and when we flirt with this support level yet again, or if we break it. Okay, so I'm going to keep this active for the entire week, and we're good to go. And members, I'll update the watch list before I go live tonight, so expect that. We'll set up a stop loss point, price target, as well as the entry point at which we're looking to short Netflix. And that's it for best stock charts this week, folks. Please join us again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and take advantage of the 30% discount on TrendSpider. Use that link below. They have a 7-day free trial offer, and it is free to our subscribers, our gold level and silver level members. Everybody have a profitable trading week, and I'll talk to you soon. Be well.